And he's like, hey, you gonna be here for the next 5 years? And I was like, yes I am. And he's just having me do incidentals and just like random characters. And in the back of my head, I was like, good. I'm slowly getting in there. My plan is working. And next thing you know, they come out with One Piece foam gold. And I'm like, my plan, it's over. It's over. Hi everybody, this is, what's his channel name? Who is Shallot? Yeah, we're not gonna, we're just gonna make it a Q&A, feel free. But hi, I'm Alejandro Saab. I'm the voice of Shallot in Dragon Ball Legends. I'm also Sino in Genshin Impact, Jingyuan in Honkai Star Rail. I'm literally just going through my glossary of things in my brain. Gabimaru the Hollow in Hell's Paradise. Most recently Macaque in Season 4 of Lego Monkey Kid. Hold on. I can do this. Using my cranium. You're in Fire Emblem Three Houses, Leon in Pokémon Journeys, and a bunch of other stuff that you can literally ask about anything. But I guess I should talk about Shallot for like 2 seconds. Shallot is an original character designed by Akira Toriyama, not by me, as much of an OC as he might seem. A self-insert, if you will, into this multiversal time tournament where he's a Saiyan twin with his brother, Giblet. Those are their real names. And most recently they fused and became a name that sounds just like Shallot. It's Shallot, but if you say it fast, Shallot. But if you say Shallot, it sounds like Gillette, and they don't want that. Because that was my first instinct, and yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If your question is about Super Saiyan Blue, I have no idea. Because everybody that asks me about Shallot, it's like, when's Super Saiyan Blue? I'm like, bro, that's a great question. I don't know. But I think at this point it's more realistic that I'll go Super Saiyan 4 than Blue. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The questions could be about Shallot, it could be about anything, it could be about food. It could honestly be whatever you want. And if there are questions about Shallot, then great, I'll answer them to the best of my abilities. Because I did not have a TV planned for this. I do not have a PowerPoint presentation in regards to, yes, well you see, Shallot over here is actually the son of Yamoshi. If you don't know who Yamoshi is, by the way, he was described by Akira Toriyama as the original Super Saiyan God, and I guarantee you he's completely forgotten he said those words. Just like how he's forgotten that Piccolo and Gohan had a relationship for the Dragon Ball superhero movie, and the director of that film had to be like, hey, maybe it shouldn't just be about Piccolo, maybe it should be about Gohan too. And it's like, why? Because, you know, they had the thing in Z, and it's like, oh yeah. So, yeah, I guarantee you he's forgotten about Yamoshi. But, all I ask is that Shallot be in Budokai Tenkaichi 4. Yeah! Don't get too excited. I don't think it'll ever happen. That is just my wish. Look, if I am truly God's favorite, like people claim, I will. I'm using all 3 wishes of the Dragon Balls about Shallot and Budokai Tenkaichi 4. Those are my wishes. So, yeah, please ask questions, because if not, it's going to be me rambling about random jargon. What?
Said failing Tenkaichi 4 to be the next Universe 2 DLC, because they won't let that game die.
That would, I think, be the biggest middle finger to Shallot. It would be like Budokai Tenkaichi 4 is in full swing, and they're coming out with like DLCs, you know, they've got like over 300, 400 characters, and then 3 years after Budokai Tenkaichi 4 comes out, they come out with 1 DLC, 1 more for Xenoverse, and it's Shallot, I would be pissed. I would be like, really? When that game is dead, you add shit. That's fine, I'm not crying, you're crying.
The Go On base pack, it's like, really? Why?
I'm crying, I'd cry. Look, man, I'm glad people still play Legends. Man, I just give Shallot some love, man, that's all I'm saying. Yeah. But yeah, questions. I'm open to, yes, Hannah.
Relax. I was going to ask if there was any role, if given the possibility, you could go back and redo, what would it be?
A role that I've done and redo completely.
Yes.
If there was any role I could redo, all of them. No, my entire first year. I'll tell you this, I wish I could redo auditions, because I've listened to some auditions I've done, and man, last year I listened to my Black Clover auditions. I didn't book it, obviously, because, you know, I'm not in it. And man, my voice was completely different. And the thing is that it just took time to adjust, to get used to where to place my voice. Because I realized a few years back, my voice was mainly coming from my nose. So I was sounding more like this. And I'm like, oh, I don't like that at all. And I listened to those Black Clover auditions, I was like, oh, this is I want to cast me. Even roles I did get, like there was Namaka, there was, I really wish I knew an English accent, because I still don't. And Uno in Namaka is English. I wish we would, if that's the one thing I could change, I wish we could make him English. That and I feel like there's one more that I would never change Treble. I wouldn't change Shallot, because I really do like Shallot. I booked Shallot because Bandai swore they were like, yeah, we really wanted someone to capture Yusuke Urameshi. And I was like, you think I'm Yusuke Urameshi? Thanks for the compliment. I will never be Justin Cook, but that's a really, it's like when people say, it's like, man, you sure sound like Matthew Mercer. I was like, I don't hear it, but thanks. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard, because I've never thought about going back and changing anything. Actually, there is one thing I would change. There was there's a weird show I did, and I love it. It's called Sarazanmai, and this show is about Kappas. The thing I would change about that show, that I would want to redo, is the singing. I was so nervous in the first episode, and people think I can't sing because of that show. And it was because I thought, oh, we have to sing in character voice. So I was very nervous. I was like, oh God, and I'm the first one to lay down the track, so I'm like, time to take back me. And I did not like it. But later on, you know, I was following Justin Briner, who's practically a Broadway singer, and Rico Fajardo, and I was like, and in that version of the song, I was way more comfortable, and I was like, if I really could go back and redo anything, it's that. It's singing that. So, all that convoluted jargon to answer your question.
I did actually see it. It was a while back, I was scrolling through TikTok.
I knew you were going to say it. I knew you were going to say TikTok. That's how I know they hate it. That's how I know!
They were ranking everyone. I did the intervention video.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you, I was dead last. That's where my ranking was at. But yeah, hope that answered your question.
Are you interested in voice acting? Are you a professional actor, or just interested in getting started in the industry?
You're in luck. Elise Baughman is now teaching voiceover classes.
She has private and group classes that she teaches.
Stuff that I learned with her has been the business of voice acting.
I learned the physicality, the confidence, and just how to improvise and how to become a new character.
Just taking the character off of a page and bringing it to life.
And if you guys are serious about doing voiceover, it's super easy. Go to elisecoaches.com, get signed up, and we'll see you there.
Any other questions? It could literally be about anything. It doesn't have to be Shallot related. It can be Shallot related. It could be nerdy. Please. Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I saw an interview of you, for Anime Adventures.
Oh, yeah.
You and Elise were talking about when you got casted for Shallot that it wasn't formal. So, and so were there other roles that you got casted for that wasn't formal, or were the rest of them like, hey, congratulations?
Well, so context. What I believe you're referring to is that, so I auditioned for Shallot back in like 2018, if not at the tail end of 2017. And I originally thought it was for Xenoverse, because they didn't tell us the name of the game. It was just like Project so-and-so. And they were like, oh yes, it's a time traveling thing, and you are exploring and protecting people with the help of Jocko and Baughman. And I was like, oh, is this like Xenoverse 3? Like, okay, cool. Or like an expansion or something. It wasn't, it was Legends. And I didn't find out until what it was, or even that I was, I found out I was cast like a week before the trailer for it dropped, and I didn't get an email. I got a Twitter DM from Chris Sabat, and he goes, congrats on the role. And I was like, what? What are we talking about? And he's like, yeah, that thing you read for. Congrats. And I was like, oh, thanks, man. What is it? I can't tell you. What? I could probably pull up the Twitter DMs. Hold on. It was just so, like, I've never, because normally they'll respond to you in an email and be like, congratulations, you got the role, we need to schedule you, so-and-so. And I'm like, okay, sure. But for this, he just sends me a Twitter message. And it's so funny because I just saw him the other day and he's like, oh, hey, you're back? And I was like, yeah, I'm back. It was just so funny. Yeah, hold on. Oh, dear Lord. Why do I have that? Sorry, a friend of mine, I sent him this terrible image of a buddy of mine drew David Mills' characters of Monaka and Frieza fused together. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I sent it to Sabat. It's just an abomination. It's an abomination. It's just terrible. Yeah, okay, cool. Congrats, bud. Japan chose you as one of the new characters in the DBZ mobile game. It's Hush Hush Off. This was February of 2018. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. What's this mobile game? Can't say. Okay. Can't wait. March comes around. They announce the game. This is how I found out what the game was. And at the time, it was the same day the Broly trailer came out, but we didn't know it was Broly. So I saw the eye thing and I was like, is this guy in the movie too? It wasn't in the movie, obviously. But I was like, is this it? 3 days later, he goes, yup. And that's been like the only time that an informal thing has happened. That's the context. But I'm trying to think if there's been any other, the only other time I worked on this show, like I've been autocast in projects. Like most recently, there's a show called Hell's Paradise. I didn't read for it. Mike McFarland, I think, just cast it. And it might have been because I did read for Chainsaw Man, and he might have liked what I did on that. I don't know. But he was like, I got the email, and after I got the email, I binge read the whole thing. But the closest thing to those DMs was probably Prince of Tennis, because I voiced a character, Momoshiro, in it, and Howard, before I read for Momoshiro, because we didn't know we were doing the original show, or the sequel series, we just thought that we were just doing these OVAs. And it's, there's a bunch of characters, because tennis, there's a bunch of characters. And I read for it, and my friend Howard, my best friend Howard, who was literally the director on this project, goes, bro, why did you read for these? And I was like, what do you mean why did I read for them? You sent me auditions. Like, I got a guy for you. Like, there's a specific character I want you to read for. And I'm like, so you're telling me I'm recording these auditions at 2 a.m, and you just wasted my life? And he's like, yeah, man, sorry. You're probably not gonna be them. And I was like, and he was right, I wasn't. And then I get the batch of auditions with my character, and I was like, is this the guy? And he's like, yeah. Should I read for anyone else? Probably not. And I read for it, and then context, at the time he was my neighbor, and when I say my neighbor, I mean my townhouse, his townhouse. Like, we're literally a door apart. We shared a wall, is how neighbors we were. And literally, I think he tells me, it's like, hey, I was the Joey, by the way, the Joey Tribbiani of the friend group. I would just, because they would leave their door unlocked, so I would just walk in and go to their fridge. So, and I'd steal some of their food. True story. And I went over there, and I was like, hey, bud. I was like, hey, what's good? And he's like, well, guess who's gonna be in tennis for the next 5 years? And I was like, who? Who? And he's like, it's you. I was like, oh, thanks, man. But that's the only other informal thing. Yeah. I hope that answered your question. In a very long tangent. Look, we got like an hour to kill, guys. There's 45 minutes left. If you don't ask questions, we're gonna be here a while. So please, ask questions. Yes?
Favorite role?
It depends on the day, what kind of flavor I'm feeling. No, this is not as, it's a goodness question. Like, your favorite role. And I say this, it's hard to choose, not because I don't favor one over the other. It's because when it comes to my favorite movies, I go about it based on genre. So I don't just have a favorite movie. I'm like, oh, well, my favorite comedy is this. My favorite animated is this. My favorite, like my favorite drama is this, So it's hard to say, it depends on the day, because like some days I'm like, oh yeah, for Sino, obviously. Shallot, like I grew up with Dragon Ball. Saint Seiya, I literally was my childhood alongside Dragon Ball. But it like changes every day. When it comes to rom-coms, Horimiya, like Miyamura. When it comes to the action stuff, Shallot. Gabimaru I love right now because it's like my real life. It's weird, because with Horimiya and Hell's Paradise. With Horimiya, I was in the process of proposing to my partner. And then in Hell's Paradise, I was literally in the process of moving to get back to my partner. So I'm just like, oh, it's art imitating life, or life imitating art. I always mess up the saying every time, so I just cover both bases. It's really hard to say. I will tell you, one of my all-time favorite shows that I worked on is a show called Sleepy Princess and the Demon Castle. It is a comedy, it's amazing, and going back to my friend Howard, I was literally directed by him, and he's one of my best friends, if not my best friend. And let me tell you, the came up in the booth. We were literally, because like, the script is written, obviously, but like since it's a comedy, we wanted to add just random gags. There was like one gag that I thought was dumb at the time, but now it's one of my favorites, because I voiced the Demon King, who's like the male, the principal character, because the main character is the Sleepy Princess. And this character's name is Twilight. And there's a hero who's trying to save the princess, and it's literally just shenanigans to show. And whenever they encounter each other, he says a dumb thing, and my favorite line is like, well, water in a well. It's just the dumbest thing. Instead of just saying, well, Howard thought water in a well. That's funny. And I was like, this is so stupid. And he's like, you're gonna say it, you're gonna like it. We would just add random stuff, because he would ask me, it's like, hey, what do you call Ryuji? I was like, what do you mean? Like when he's doing something bad, like what do you do? And I was like, I just say like, buddy, leave it. And he's like, great, we're adding that into the show. Because because the Demon King has like this companion who's essentially his dog, but he's more like his, like his vassal. And it's just funny because we added those gags. We added SpongeBob references. That was really funny. Because there's a point where Twilight falls to the ground and he just goes, and then he's placing the line. And I'm in the booth just leaning back, just going, just random, because my brain just works weird. And I just go, and he stops everything, looks at me, and he goes, that. We're doing that. So he pulls up the track, I fall, and I go, and that's in the show. So that was one of the funnest experiences, because I literally just got to work on a comedy anime with my best friend. And like Prince of Tennis is fun, and working with him is fun, but like, there's like hours of just like, I can't believe he just did that curve shot. Because I love sports anime, but like, the Twilight was so fun. Sleepy Princess is a show I recommend everybody watch, because it's also spooky themed, like Halloween. So Halloween was a fun time. I also added a Metal Gear reference. Why are we still here? Just to suffer!